Welcome back to Swans Cast, everyone. So, I don't know how to sort of introduce this one, but 4 defeats in a row. Looks a lot like a lot of red on our form table, if you like. I think you could call me lucky, but I was working today and didn't actually manage to watch the game, so I got Lee with me, who is going to talk us through what happened, and we're just going to sort of analyse the situation more than necessarily the game itself fully, obviously, because I can't offer that much insight myself. But we'll get straight into it then. Lee, you can sum up the game for me and talk me through what happened. I will say I did see about 23 minutes of the second half, the start, but yeah, sum it up for me.
I wish I was in work with you, to be honest. I did literally not much to say about the game at all. It was horrendous from start to finish. So
Okay.
much optimism when he actually went to the back four
Yeah, I
and
was going to
changed
say,
it.
I
I
saw
thought this is
all over Twitter, everyone was like excited about the formation change. We've been calling for it for a while. Everyone seemed really upbeat before kick-off that we were going 4-3-3. Made a couple of changes in there as well. Didn't pay off.
it changed nothing. It didn't add anything to the team. It was exactly the same as it was on Friday, maybe worse. I don't know when you're watching a game and you think we might get something. You're always sort of hopeful that we're going to score, and you're into the game. But you could feel it. 20 minutes in, you could feel it. Like it was either going to be 0-0 or they were going to make a goal. You could just feel it straight away, just the way the performance was going.
I did say, actually, one of the boys in work with me is a Cardiff fan. So I was watching it, we were on break, and I was watching it on my phone. I think after about 10-15 minutes of watching the game, I literally turned to him and said, like, I guarantee you this is either going to be 0-0 or 1-0 Preston. I said to him, he's just laughing, but he's not laughing anymore. I don't know if anyone's seen the Cardiff score, but it might make you feel a little bit better about yourself today. They lost 5-0 to Sheffield Wednesday. So he's not laughing anymore, but at the time he was having a bit of a giggle. Yeah, so well, I was 1-0 to Preston in the end, so I guess like I was quite accurate with what I saw. First half, I'm looking at the momentum graph on SofaScore in front of me now. Looks like Swansea didn't do anything till the last 5 minutes. It's all Preston.
It was. They had a couple of decent chances in the first half. They controlled quite a lot of it. I can't think of anything that we did in the first half. They just looked more lively. They had a couple of decent half chances. Guehi took Ched Evans down when he was sort of through. Some might have said it might have been a red card, but I think it was a yellow. Yeah, that was it. It was just dire. Honestly, there's nothing to say about it. I know, like, try and get a conversation going with the video, but the game was that bad. Literally nothing happened, but we didn't offer anything at all. It's so frustrating.
Well, second half then. So I saw a bit of this. So like the comment as they were kicking off, like commentary was saying, talking about how it could get better.
Oh, actually,
Leon Britton was in the commentary. Go on.
actually, I tell a lie. The best thing that happened in the first half is the Swans TV thing just like broke and went black for about 10 minutes.
So you watched on Swans TV?
They were probably doing us a favor. Yeah, they were probably doing us a favor because it was awful. It cut off and then they went to like it looked like somebody with just like a phone camera in the stands for like a couple
funny.
of minutes. It was awful.
You watched a dodgy stream, were you?
Of course not.
No. Okay,
Never.
well,
Would never do that.
start the second half. So they did say like it looked like they'd up the tempo, and from what I saw at that time, it looked like we did have more. It was more us than Preston. Obviously, I had nothing to compare it to at the time myself. But looking at the momentum graph, it does look like we did up our game a little bit. But when I say up our game, what I mean is we had the ball a little bit more. And we were kind of passing it around and not really doing anything with it in the final third and making any chances. Or when maybe Jamal had a couple where like he would cut in and then the shot was either high or like just crap. I think Horahan had one on his right foot again. He skied that. I can't really think of much else. What happened? Jay Felton took a ball to the face.
Yeah.
That apparently they were shouting for handball, but I think it clearly hit him in the head. I can't even think of anything else notable, to be honest.
They did sort of up the tempo slightly, shall we say, like right after half time. It seemed to have a bit more urgency about them, but it faded. It just faded so quickly. I think with Preston as well, um, the ref did leave quite a lot go, but they knew how to play against us. That front three that he played, they just had their backs to goal all game, and defenders were just coming to the back of them. I think they probably should have had a card earlier. The ref could have managed it a bit better, but it's not really an excuse because we just had no answer. We just had no answer for it. We couldn't create anything.
Yeah. Okay, so I was, before I went back to work, I think it was about 75 minutes, and I was just there like, how has he not made a sub yet? I know, like, you got to credit him for the changes that he made. Everyone's been asking for him. Clearly didn't work, but you can't change your mind after the match. We all wanted these changes. They've come. Credit for the fact that he made them, changed the formation, tried to do something different. But again, when it's not working, changing it in-game is still a problem. No subs, you would say, a 0-0 at home against a team that is far below us in the league and somehow was below us in the form table before this match. 60 minutes in and you haven't made a change. I think like 60 minutes you should be making a change by then in this situation. Nothing happens until the 81st minute where you bring on Jan Danda and Wayne Routledge for Horahan and Whittaker. But for me, and I didn't see them come on and what they did, what are you asking the player to do in like 10 minutes? What do
I didn't realise it was that late. I was thinking he made the subs, but I didn't realise it was that late. 81st minute. Yeah, the game was gone.
How can they impact and change a game? They might take 10 minutes to like get a feel for the game.
Yeah, right. And I'm not blaming the subs that came on as well. But I think when they came on as well, I think Preston sort of upped their game a bit because they sort of sat back for large
They're
part
probably
of the
looking for a
second half.
1-0 in there, like last 10 minutes, we'll turn it around, turn it on, try and get that goal.
Yeah, but I think the last
Smash
10
and grab.
minutes, not in the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes, it was mostly them. They were pressing. They looked
Yeah, but
more
that's
likely to
what I
score.
mean. Like, they probably thought if we can get to, like, that's probably what their game plan was. They perhaps didn't expect to have more the first half, but they ended up having it. The game plan before kickoff was probably, let's wait till 80, try and make sure we don't concede, and then nick a goal. That's probably what their game plan would have been. So it does make sense. And looking at the momentum graph, it does seem to link with the fact that they came on at that time. Preston had the ball pretty much all of it, all the momentum, I should say, after that point, which again is not the subs' fault necessarily.
Oh, no.
It's just like if that was the game plan or whatever, that's just what panned out. It doesn't mean it would have been any different with or without them. I just like if you put in on attacking subs in the 81st minute to try and change the game, it's too late, really. How often is an 81st minute sub going to come on and score a winner or create a winner?
Strange as well. Someone's going to have to solve the mystery for me because is Whittaker a winger or is he an actual striker?
Well,
I just seems a mystery to me.
he only made like 6 senior appearances before us, didn't he? I don't know what he played youth level, but I thought he was a striker coming to us.
He seems wasted on the wing to me. Like he didn't have a great. Nobody had a great game today. He did lose the ball a couple of times, but he was trying. He was trying.
He was trying to take people on from what I saw. He was trying to go.
Yeah, he was trying to do stuff, but he doesn't seem comfortable on the wing to me.
The problem is,
I'm just thinking, like, why doesn't he interchange them? Like, Lowe can sort of pop up in the middle at some times, and Ayew can push out to the wing. I don't think Ayew can play through the middle on his own.
No, me.
Because he doesn't run in behind. He's always deep in midfield.
Yeah.
When things aren't going our way, he always drops deep in midfield. And he started losing the ball as well. We had absolutely nothing up top. Why couldn't he put Ayew on the wing, like we said, and Whittaker through the middle?
Yeah.
And then when he brought Routledge on, and he put Routledge through the middle and put Ayew on the wing then, 10 minutes to go.
Yeah. I wouldn't have said Routledge is a striker. I get it in the two up. I get it in the two up top. When we play two up top, I get it, but not when he's on his own. I don't think maybe Whittaker can, but I don't. Andre Ayew works well when we do the two and has, like, obviously, other than the fact that formation has fizzled out lately. Before, it worked well because he was bouncing off someone else, but on his own, and I think we said it before when we trialled it in the Prem a couple of times and last year, and Potter did it once or twice. It works a little bit, but he doesn't offer that much because, like, if Whittaker, which I saw a couple of times, is going to the byline and trying to get a cross in, 9 times out of 10, he's not if he's the only guy in the box and you've got two centre backs, he's not winning that. He's not going to win it. He's good in the air, but not in that situation where you're against two centre backs taller than you. And they couldn't really get in a position where they were cutting it back on the floor. But then he's the only one in the box, really, and it's just, if you're going to play that sort of game, like you want someone tall, probably, that's going to be winning them headers.
Like Whittaker, and that begs the question, because Ayew on the wing as well, we always see him like cutting in, trying to get a shot off with his left. He loves to do it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, even like you said, just in game management, it doesn't change anything. Like, you could have said 5 minutes, Ayew go out onto the wing and Whittaker go through the middle.
Yeah, try someone else, try confuse the defence.
Yeah.
Or just tell them to freely interchange like every 5 minutes or so, because it asks the defence a different question and tells them, asks them to keep on their toes, really, because they're not sure where each player is going to pop up. Whereas, we're getting Lee Bowyer saying about us being predictable, which we did change the formation, but what changed about the way we're trying to get goals? We're trying to, play to Ayew in the same way he's marked out of the game and can't do anything. So, nothing's changed, really, from that aspect. I thought Jamal Lowe did look better, mind, on the wing, from what I saw of him. Again, not I'm not saying he had a good game, but in terms of what he's offered as one of the front two in recent weeks, he took on a couple of people and he actually got past them a couple of times, which I've not seen him do that for a while. So I think, like I said, I'm basing this off the 20 minutes I saw in the second half.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the 20 minutes you saw was probably a good, sort of 5 minute spell that he had where he did get him behind on that left hand side a couple of times. He went through and he tried to buy a penalty, didn't he? And he seemed to get in behind.
For that, didn't he?
Yeah, but I don't know. He didn't do much for me again.
I'm just saying, he did take more people on. So I'm just trying to ask the question: is he more suited to being on the wing, where he's got a little bit more confidence? He's trying to make stuff happen there, whereas up front, as one of the two with his back to goal, necessarily it's not working for him.
Yeah, maybe. He is a winger naturally, isn't he? So he's probably more comfortable out there. But I think on the whole, which is something I was going to say later, maybe changing the formation when we played 40 games in another formation, that takes, that could take 3 or 4 games to bed in.
Yeah.
Similar to Lowe, obviously he's been asked to play as a striker all season. It's going to take him 2 or 3 games to get used to the formation, as it will with all the other players. Because I think as well, on that as well, the way he looked a bit lost to me in the back four. Usually he's been good this season, but I think he did look a bit lost in the back four. I don't know why, he just didn't see himself. It was a bit ropey
when we had, remember when he first came into the team in the back four? He's obviously the 5 at the back really suited his game. But yeah, that's not criticism of him. You're being asked to adjust, and it's just a case of Fagihi adjusting to a back four. He's playing alongside Manning and Cabango, whereas the last couple of weeks he's been playing alongside Bennett and Bidwell.
It's going to take time.
Been in and out of the team, but as a back four, I don't think that combination's been used.
You could see it's an adjustment that needs to be made, because you see Connor Roberts is playing right back today, and you could see sometimes he was up the pitch and way out of position. I guess you can't play that sort of wing back role when you've got a back four.
But the only way you can do it is if someone's dropping to cover, I guess, isn't it? It seemed to be Matt Grimes, because there was a couple of times I think they went through and he's the one covering back. But
then you're asking you're losing a midfielder then, and that's when you lose sort of an attacking edge.
But you've got to be doing it in a way where the whole team works for the system, like what Man City probably do. But then there's a reason that Man City can do it, and that's because they're one of the best teams with some of the best players in the world. We're in the Championship, so are you going to realistically get that sort of fluidity at this level? Is it going to work? There's a reason why these players are at this level, and not in the Premier League. Either because they're starting out and they haven't been snapped up yet, or because they weren't good enough for that league. That's the bottom line. Looking at Andre Ayew, said he was a bit quiet. So he made 13 passes out of 16. So the accuracy is not really that bad, but Woodman made 19 passes. That's just accurate passes.
That says quite a lot.
It shows how little Andre had the ball.
But you want him on the end of things as a 9 through the middle. I know that's not his game. You can say what you want about Ayew. Plays the game differently. as a 9, you want him getting on the end of things. Nobody runs in behind defences for us, ever. He's coming deep. You've got your 2 wingers out wide. Don't get him behind. And then you've got Ayew who comes deep. Get the ball. And that's why he has so many successful passes, because he's got his back to goal and he's just passing it backwards to one of the midfielders.
Yeah.
Nothing in behind. It's so annoying to watch today. It was awful.
Okay, let's
Just the lack of
finalise the actual events of the game. We haven't talked about the goal. I haven't seen the goal yet. So if you want to run through it.
Yeah, it was coming. To be fair, they had that. Like I said, that last 10 minutes, they looked like they were coming. They had more of the ball. Cabango had just made like a good block. Just before that, he probably would have scored if he didn't block it. And then same sort of thing happened again. Same sort of position. Sinclair gets through. Woodman has to come out and challenge him because he's sort of in 1-on-1, and Woodman sort of gets the ball. He does well, but Grimes is tracking back and it just hits Grimes and goes in. It's a bit of an accident, but it was
unlucky
coming.
On Grimes' part, but it was like it's not his fault necessarily.
Yeah, it's no one really. Well, I suppose you can always say you can defend a goal better, can't you? But I think just in that instance, Grimes has done well to get back, but it's just unlucky because it's bounced off him. So it's no one's mistake really, but it was coming. It was deserved for that last 10 minutes. You could just see it coming.
One notable thing that I have just picked up from the stats from this game, which I don't know what it would mean or like the bigger picture is, but I'll just tell you and then we can see what you think. Jay Felton, Conor Horahan and Matt Grimes. So recently the accurate passes, like the percentage has not been amazing. There's been some games where they've all been in like 60% across the board, like in the midfield. Obviously, I'm just looking at the midfield because that's where, if you're going to dictate possession and keep the ball, that's kind of where you want to be doing it. Matt Grimes had 85% today, which maybe the change of formation has helped that side of things, but then you've got to ask where the attack is coming from. So Horahan had 76%, but the difference is, and Fulton had 81%, but the difference is, I think, Grimes is having like 52 accurate passes, Horahan 22, and I know he got subbed off, but is he actually playing as a cam? Doesn't seem to be getting the ball and getting
I don't know what he was. I don't know what he was. Horahan was awful today, mate. I think
2 key
passes. I don't know where he was playing.
Where the others didn't make any, but nothing happened. So how key are they really?
This is where the stats are misleading because, like, you say you can say like accurate passes, but the midfield 3. Grimes is naturally deeper, isn't he? But
yeah.
One of them's got to get more advanced. Bolton and Horahan just seem to be sat alongside Grimes all game. And then the 3 were just up front, in front of them. There was nothing. They just sat in the midfield 3 and they don't get forward. And then the front 3 are just there. Back 4 just flat, sticking with them. And nothing actually happens, so they end up just passing it between them anyway.
I feel like
get more accurate passes.
This is one though that I'm not necessarily criticising the players for, and you'd probably say comes from above. If they're playing as a 3 rather than a 2 and a cam, that's got to be down to what they're being asked to do.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, for me, if Grimes is the one that sits deep, he's had a decent game and he's done his job as much as you would ask. Yeah, obviously the goal was a bit unfortunate, and you could argue if we had done our job at that point, it wouldn't have happened anyway, that they would have been in that situation, which you should have done that job. As the team was fighting to try and keep their automatic promotion hopes alive, you should have done the job by the 90th minute against Preston without being disrespectful. So Grimes is like a little bit further. Ground duels 1, 3 out of 3. Aerial duels 1, 5 out of 6. I did see him lose possession a couple of times, mind, when I watched a couple of stray passes, 9 times. But again, that's on par with the other guys. And then looking a little bit more, we've got 5 clearances, a block shot, interception, 1 tackle, and obviously the own goal. But comparing that with Horahan, who you'd argue you want him on the pitch to be the attacking one, yeah? I'm just not sure what he's offering. So ground duels 1 out of 2. So yeah, okay, 50%, but he's not getting as involved as much there. Aerial duels one out of two. Again, same thing. He's not as involved to what's he doing is what I'm trying to say. Possession lost 8, clearances none, blocked shots none, interceptions 1, tackles none. So if he's not being told to play further up the pitch in our attacking role, what's he doing really? And I'm not criticising Horahan because I feel like he needs to be in that attacking role, and that's probably where he'd want to play. But you're clearly not getting the best out of him because he's not offering the same level as what I've just said about Grimes. And we look at Felton as well. Ground duels 1, 3 out of 6. Not as good as Grimes, but he's getting a little bit more involved. Aerial duels 1, 2 out of 2. He did lose possession 10 times. Like I said, it was quite similar across the board. Clearances 2, block shots 1, interceptions 1, tackles 2. So he's getting stuck in as well. So Grimes and Felton are showing the two sit-in positions in this formation. They've done a decent job there. But Horahan is kind of I just don't understand what he's been asked to do.
No, I know I say stats can be misleading, but you've looked at them. That's exactly the way it played out in the game because I don't know what he did. Because you would sort of want to see at least one of the midfielders just drive with the ball.
Yeah.
Just you see a midfielder drive into that, and this is why Ayew is coming deep because no midfielder drives into that pocket behind the striker for then one of the front three to run in behind. They are coming deep. Like I said, they were just backs to goal all game. The midfield three are flat. Nobody drives at it, and they're just sort of passing it back and forth to each other. And like you said, Grimes and Fulton get stuck in. Like Horahan today, I didn't see him do anything on that pitch.
One final nail in the coffin then. Touches on the ball, yeah. Grimes 74, Fulton 50, and Horahan 38. But again, I guess maybe he's on par with Fulton, although 81st minute and we didn't have the ball hardly afterwards, so perhaps he wouldn't have got there. And the other thing, we talk about how much we're playing long ball a lot more recently. Grimes 4 long balls, Felton 6, Horahan 8. So if he's also supposed to be the furthest forward out of the 3 midfielders, why is he also playing the most long balls? I'm a bit confused with that one.
Yeah, well, like you said, it depends what he's been asked to do. Like we said this about Dander before. If he plays Dander on the right of that midfield 3, he can't do anything. And maybe it's the same sort of scenario.
But yeah, it's not Dander's position or role, is it, that one? I can't really... There's nothing on Dander's stats I can talk about. He hasn't done anything in 9 minutes.
Oh, but he
4 touches
did it before.
of the ball.
I can't remember what game it was. When he had maybe 2 games in a row where he played Dander on the right of the 3.
Yeah, it was...
and he just get into it. A midweek game, wasn't
I'm
it?
sure it was after Norwich or something, or around that time.
Yeah, it was something like that. But it's the same sort of thing. Then depends what he's been asked to do. But yeah, whatever he asked Horahan to do today didn't work, or he didn't do what he was asked to do.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's I obviously didn't watch the game. I've just tried to analyse from an outside perspective there, and it kind of lines up with what you were saying. So let's move on to maybe where the problem is. And that's Cooper, maybe, arguably. Some people are calling for that being the issue. Simple question, which I'm sure we'll debate further, but is his time done? Is his time over?
Not well. For me, not yet. Like we said, I think he's done well with the squad that he's got. But it's dried up massively. And I think, look, it's 8 games left. Nobody sacks the manager with 8 games left when you're 4th in the table with a potential playoff run. That would be crazy. But I think if you're looking at it like last year with Forest, and I looked earlier, after 39 games, which is what we were on now, I think they were 7 points from outside the playoffs. 39 games, I think. I won't check that and correct me, but I think the same games, they were 7 points and 4th.
Yeah.
Off dropping out of the playoffs, and we're 4th now with 4 points from outside the playoffs.
We're again hoping that Brentford do a massive, they seem to be competing with us to see who's the biggest bottle job, so we're kind of hoping again that they're going to do that.
Yeah, but if you look at it like we said, beginning of February, which is 2 months ago, we were 2 points. We were second and 2 points off top with the game in hand. So I think if he goes and collapses out of the playoffs from here, I think they got to get rid
That's
of him
an
after that,
unrecover.
unfortunately.
Because I think the mental impact of that as well is too great to
Yeah,
like
I think so.
overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Look,
Like,
I don't think.
go on.
Sorry, go on, you go.
No, I was just gonna say
I was going to say, I
I'm
don't
not.
think.
Go on. No, you go first. You go.
I don't think. I don't. Yeah, but like obviously, if they do collapse out of the playoffs from there, like it is you can't recover from that. And I think he does go like they did with Forest last year. But
Although that didn't work out for
wouldn't
them
sack him
either,
now.
so that's not worked
But
out
I
yet.
wouldn't sack him. I don't think he should be sacked on the back of this. I think it's ridiculous. We've got a potential playoff run to come. Well, hopefully. So I think it'd be crazy to sack someone with 8 games left. And you don't know. We've lost 4 games in a row. Are we likely to lose 8 in a row from here and just like have a
I
complete
feel
sort of
like he
crazy
will
run,
stop
or
the
will they pick
tide.
up some points?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
his
he
first
will.
proper
He will. Well,
challenge, isn't it? To be honest, it is. It's kind of like Frank Lampard a little bit. Young manager, going got tough, and as soon as the going got tough for him, Chelsea kind of got rid of him. But we're not Chelsea. We're not in that sort of. We're not fighting for Champions League for a start. You could say it's the equivalent for the lower league, but yeah, you'd like to think maybe he'll have a chance to prove himself out of a bad run like this. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, we've been in a bad run for months," but football's a results business. So from the board level, now they're going to start to like pay attention because there's 4 defeats in a row. They've gone from having a chance of going back to the Premier League second place to like 25% chance potentially, even if we get into the playoffs. I'm with you though. I don't think you can't sack him now. I think who's going to come in with 8 games to go and like steady the ship, I guess. Like I think it's asking for trouble. He has to try and stabilise it somehow. I don't know what it is. All of a sudden we just can't score a goal. And I know goal scoring has not been our strength all year. Put it this way, we haven't scored in 4 matches yet. We're on 45 goals scored this season. If you go back to when you said, like when we were like 2 points off top of the league, we weren't that bad. We were like 7th or 8th in the league for goal scoring. Now we're probably near the bottom. I haven't got the exact amount here, but we're definitely bottom half. But like our goals have just dried up in the last month or two. Whereas even though it was only 1 or 2 a game before that, when there's 1 or 2 a game every game for 20 games, and you're averaging like 30 goals, you'd average like 60 to 70 by the end of the season. So that's not bad. But obviously they've just stopped completely. Whatever the reason for that is, like I don't know the answer anymore. We've offered stuff, and to be fair, a lot of the stuff that we've suggested on here, like going diamond before and changing information now, it's not actually worked out. So it's hard to call. But
I don't like.
I've just got like looking at the last couple of games. Preston today, we didn't get a shot on target. 9 shots, 0 on target. Birmingham, we had 7 shots, 3 on target. But like away, Birmingham are down the bottom of the league, and you're only getting 7 shots.
Last.
I've skipped the Cardiff game because that's a bit of an anomaly because of that second half. We had like 20 odd shots. I know it was only 1 on target, so but the fact that we had 20 odd shots, like it's a bit of a different situation that is. Bournemouth though, 7 shots, 2 on target. Like it's a trend.
I think we've been found out. Like even when we were scoring 2 goals a game, we weren't creating 8 chances a game. We were sort of scoring 1 early, sitting in, and then scoring 1 later on the break. That's what it seemed like to me. My memory might be short,
No, I think
but I'm
first
thinking
half of the
like,
season, like I was saying to Chris in the last video, we were doing fine first half of the season. Like we were quite comfortable. There was games that were like that, of course, but it wasn't like they weren't all smash and grabs. They started becoming that after Christmas, a little bit more, and it just progressively got worse. First half of the season, I don't think you'd take away from Cooper like that. It was a good, it was working. Whatever it was working, and we did look like scoring when we had the ball. I've just picked a random one from October here, 2-0 when we beat Blackburn at home. We had 11 shots, 3 on target. Like that's not awful. Like it's not like loads, a bucket load, but it's not 7 with none on target either, is it? Like it's plus there's a big chance in there.
Have Birmingham, who were 1 place above the relegation zone, and Preston, who were the most out of form team in the the championship, and what do we have? 3 shots on target over the 2 games. It's just not good enough.
No, I completely agree. Like something has gone wrong, and I play devil advocate a little bit here because of what I've read. Just different views I read all the time on Twitter, and just think about it. We've kind of been slating him for this entire video a little bit. So, is this just sort of a result of a bad January and summer transfer window in terms of like actually assessing or addressing the problems and what we actually need? And now it's sort of coming to the forefront because it's now becoming a problem.
But it's partly that. I'll give him that for maybe 20% of the issue. But for me, the major issue why we've landed where we are now is didn't explore any options from the beginning of the season until, I don't know, March. He started maybe changing a few players around. The amount of videos that we did in that spell where we were awful for ages and we were shithousing wins, we were saying, he needs to change it, he needs to change it, he needs to change it. He never changed it.
Yeah.
And although we were scraping wins, we did scrape some wins. I'd say maybe the Stoke game where the second half he brought Horahan on and did the diamond. That was the first time all season that he'd done anything different. He'd experimented anything different
within the game, like a proper change now, not changing from 5.
But in a 46 game season, you cannot play the same formation and basically the same players all the way through. And it goes back to Bowyer's comments on the weekend, saying how predictable we were. Players like Lowe and Ayew never drop in for ages. I know Lowe maybe a bit more recently, but that's what I'm saying. From the start of the season until like March, when the Stoke game was, these players never dropped. Connor Roberts, no, and I'm not blaming Connor Roberts. He's been class, but no cover for him. He didn't play Manning until March, or properly anyway. Manning's only now getting a run in the side. So for him to change the formation now with 8 games to go, like I said, it may take 4 or 5 games for a new formation to work.
Yeah.
It's too late. So for me, just not exploring different options during the season where you can change it, and you said about like in-game management, where a game is going a different way, and we can say, right, we'll go to a back 4, we'll go back to the back 5, we'll play 2 up front, we'll play 3. He's only started doing it in the last like month or so, and it's too late. And that's why I think we've dropped off.
Yeah.
Because teams have sussed out how we attack, and we haven't got an answer for it now, or we haven't got enough time to rectify it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know what the answer is. I feel like maybe you stick with the formation they played today, and you've just got to put someone in that cam role. Whether it's even Danda, like if he's the most attacking option, even if he is luxury, and you can be luxury as well as like being good. It is possible to be both. Luxury player is not saying he's a bad player. He could be luxury and a good player. But if he is the most attacking player, just play him till the end of the season in that hole, because we need to now take the game to whoever we're playing. Even if it's a case, again, confidence up for the playoffs at this point. Can't go into the playoffs on a back of like this sort of form, because what's the point of turning up, really?
If we get there.
Yeah, but you got to aim for that. If you don't get there, then you failed, and he's going to get sacked, and so he can't be like thinking like that.
I honestly don't know where we go from here. I don't want to sound too negative, but do we stick with the back 4 now and try and work something out, or does he just go back to the back 5 and just try and get the odd draw, maybe nick a win for the last 8 games of the season and just stay in the playoffs and then bow out like we did last year?
Nah, I think you got to go for it.
I think he will go for it.
If he changes back the formation straight away now, he's accepted defeat, isn't he? He's kind of saying, I don't really know what the problem is and I don't know how to fix it. By changing the formation today, he's like saying, I'm trying to change something. If he gives it 1 game and decides it doesn't work, he's given up already, isn't he? That's kind of like digging his own grave, I think.
I agree with you. I think he needed to change it. He needed to do something different. But I'm just thinking, in his shoes now, in terms of like, the questions around his management, is he thinking, I just need to get into the playoffs? However we do it, we just need to get into the playoffs. Just get over the line. And
Yeah, but
then
like playing the 5 at the back wasn't working anyway. So it's like we lost 1-0 for 3 games in a row.
yeah, but we lost 1-0 against Birmingham penalty last minute, and
Yeah, but
it
because
was.
Woodman saved a
No,
penalty.
I'm not. No, like I'm not condoning it. I don't think he should go back to the back five. But I'm just sort of thinking, in his shoes, does he just need to stick to what he
Yeah,
knows and gets over the play? I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't. But in his shoes, he could just be saying, "Look, I'll just go back to the back five. We'll defend like we were, not conceding many goals, and maybe that'll be enough just to get us into the playoffs."
yeah, maybe. I go back to like earlier what I said about the transfers. Like only 'cause I saw some comment thread, I should say, that was exploring an interesting avenue. Just saying like since Birch has left, Cooper's kind of like become more and more vocal about the American owners and the lack of support and investment. He has spoken about needing to get a striker in. 2 transfer windows, that's not happened. No one knows the full situation around the loan signings from America. I was happy with Morris. I thought you could have done something. You said about players running in behind. We haven't got anyone. He would have offered that.
Yep.
So if that's Cooper signing or not, I think that could have worked. And I think he also accepted that because he was the one that was getting used. He was like the sub that you knew was going to come on 60 odd minutes and even half time before the game got injured. Obviously Areola, that's a weird situation. Freeman, we did need another right back, but he's definitely there just as cover if Roberts gets injured. Otherwise you're not seeing him. And Whittaker is now playing because essentially, right, as good as Whittaker's done in a couple of games, he's only on the pitch because things are not going well. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was trying to say earlier with like his reluctance to try things throughout the season.
So what I'm saying is like his reluctance and the whole linking this to like his issue with subs and not using subs when you think it's quite clear you need to change it. Is he just like making a point that he feels he doesn't have the options and resources as a bigger statement? Is that what's going on here? Something like big, like is there more to it? I'm just trying to like look at bigger picture, I guess.
Maybe. No, you could be right there. I think he's obviously showing his hand that he hasn't got options, but
yeah,
I think there could be another issue behind the scenes as well. I know we're just speculating. He hasn't been offered a new contract yet, and it was brought up in the fans forum, and it was sort of side because they sort of offered all the young players a new contract today, but they sort of brushed off offering the sort of the coaching staff new contracts. But that's something going on behind the scenes as well. You say like players looking for well, I'm not saying he's looking for a move. I'm trying to word this right. Is he looking elsewhere? Has he got one eye elsewhere, thinking I'm not getting a contract here? Does that affect his management? Like players are sort of pushing for moves sometimes, and they're not really at it.
Yeah, but even if he is, even if that is the case, like how would the team would still want to go up? Surely, it's not like he's not the one putting them. Well, I don't want to say it's the player's fault, but he's not the one that's necessarily putting them bad performances in.
Well, I mean, like couple that with what you said about he hasn't got the options and he's not making the subs, and then I was trying to pinpoint part of the season where it went wrong because it was going well. I'm trying to pinpoint where it's gone so badly.
It just seems like the Man City.
Could it be when the rumours started coming in? And the rumours started coming in that he might go
to Palace? Well, look, people talked about that on Twitter, and I was in a couple of debates saying that is really not the case. So, I mean, I would like to think it's not. I just don't understand in my head how that could have such a big impact on how the team is playing.
Oh no!
Because the Sun has said Crystal Palace are offering him a job or whatever. Would they want him?
We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes with contract talks and stuff. Like we haven't got half a clue what goes on, like on the training ground and stuff. I'm just speculating. I'm just like offering sort of ideas as to why it's blown up. I think again, and I was thinking this earlier. Even though it's been bad lately, I think he might go to Sheffield United even if they come down and we don't go up.
Well, they'll have a lot of money for a start.
But
Brewster.
they've got Brewster there. What he did with Brewster in the Championship, I'd be looking at that at Sheffield United. If I was him, like you said, not having transfers that he wanted, not getting maybe the contract that he wants, I think he'll go there if it's offered to him.
You got more of a chance of going up from the Championship with Sheffield United next season than you have with us. So it is a better option. And like I said in the last video, I think if we don't go up, he's probably going to go. And I'm not necessarily going to be as gutted as I would have been if you asked me a couple of weeks ago. And to be honest,
the only thing,
like you said, if he drops out of the playoffs, then he's going to go, and he probably has to go, because how do you salvage that? You got to the playoffs last year from a position where you shouldn't have got there. It looked up until now that we built on that, and comfortably, minimum, we're going to get playoffs. Now it's like all of a sudden there's a question mark over even that. And like you said a couple of weeks ago, we were challenging for the league. Back when we beat Norwich, like in January or February, whenever it was. We were looking
only 2 months ago.
for the league. So how... I don't know, like it's weird because as a player as well, surely you'd want to win the league or the Premier League, and I'm sure they still do.
Yeah, I mean, nobody goes out.
Don't you just look back at the rest of the season and be like, what's changed? Like, what are they thinking? I just don't... What would they be thinking right now?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a strange one. It's hard to pinpoint it.
Like, what's Cooper asking them different to do now to what they were doing when they were winning that they can't seem to do anymore?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. What's affected it? What's being translated onto the training ground?
Yeah, weird one. If he did go,
and
who would come in?
Oh, I don't know. Well, that's the thing. I don't think he should go. And I know what you're saying. I wouldn't be as gutted with him going as previous managers, but I'd like him to stay. I just want stability. I just want a manager for 5 years, 4 years, whatever. Just to have...
That's a luxury in modern football, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but the position we're in where we are rebuilding from coming down, we're still heavily relying on a loan market.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wanted to.
You need to embed sort of a system of playing, whatever that may be, over time.
Yeah. No, I do agree.
And I think a lot goes with Cooper as well. Like his pull for like young loan players, that goes with him. So I don't know. I don't know the answer at the moment.
How much the coaching staff would leave with him? Mike Marsh. Probably. Maybe one or two others. But yeah, I don't know who would replace him.
Also, I don't want to just be like a club as well all the time. It's just like, we have lost 4 games in a row, and it is awful at the moment. But sack the manager, sack the manager, sack the manager. That's essentially what got us relegated in the Premier League. That sort of mentality.
Yeah, you are right. Like I said, I don't necessarily want him to be sacked. I don't know what the solution is at the moment. If he gets to the summer, we're in the playoffs and we don't go up, the solution is he needs to get some creative players in. Maybe a bit of pace and a striker. The problem is he going to have the funds or capability to do it? We just don't know. I felt positive after January, and now I don't. All of a sudden, now I feel like that wasn't good. At the time, we were
our
buzzing.
January window, it seemed good on paper, didn't it? When we were all quite happy with that, and then we took it into a good February where we were sort of competing, and then that's what I'm saying. I'm struggling to pinpoint where it fell off a cliff.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be more to talk about on this matter. Who have we got next? We've got Millwall on Saturday, I believe. Yes.
Week break again.
Well, Monday to Saturday, so you've got a bit of time to maybe work on whatever, if he's going to stay further back. He's got a bit of time to work on it now. To maybe obviously, I think the defence is fine. We conceded 1 goal in the last couple of games, but we're not scoring. That's the problem. If we score first, then comes a little bit with it. That there's a bit more confidence, and 0-0, 90 minutes, 2 games in a row. You've always got the risk that's going to go the other way. How many times have we done it to other teams ourselves? Whereas if you 1-0 in that same situation, first of all, if they score, it's not a loss. And second of all, I just feel like you've got something to defend then. So
Yeah,
we've done
I
well with
think
that.
as well, thinking about it, like trying to back him up a little bit, saying about the players. I think if we're trying to pinpoint where it went wrong, we can say like the Norwich game was the last game where we played well, where essentially it was in our hands. The players tightened up a bit in the sense that we're trying to protect what we've got rather than go out and force the issue.
Yeah.
The nerves set in a bit where we're afraid to lose games rather than going out to win them, and maybe that's why we're conceding sort of last minute goals where we're getting nervous,
Yeah, kind
especially
of
now.
been the underdog all season, and now we're kind of against the nitty gritty, and we were definitely in the mix. They just can't handle it.
Rather than all that, it's been great.
If we finish in the playoffs, it's still been a decent season. Like, definitely, but the danger is, right, so let's look at the situation. So, 39 games played. So what's that, 7 games left? We're on 69 points in 4th place. Brentford are on the same points above us with a game in hand. Who are they playing tomorrow? Let's have a look. Because their form's not been great themselves. But they're playing Birmingham tomorrow, so hopefully Birmingham will have a bit of momentum after beating us and get another one. They are fighting as well to not get relegated, so below us is the problem though now, because Barnsley are on 68 points after winning today. Reading are on 66. So they're all both within one win of us. And without getting the calculator out, the goal difference isn't too different. SofaScore just does goals for and against. It doesn't actually tell me the difference, but it doesn't look too different. Let me have a look. Let's see. So 14 for us, plus 14. Barnsley is plus 8. Okay, so there's a bit of a gap there, but they're only 1 point behind. And Reading is plus 13, so you'd think if they win the next game and we lose, their goal difference will be better anyway. So they would go ahead of us. And then Bournemouth are chasing, and they're only 1 point out of the playoffs on 65. So it's definitely realistic that another loss, Bournemouth win, it's all of a sudden gone from fighting second to fighting to stay in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it makes every game even bigger now.
I think Bournemouth are the only one that are realistically going to get in. Cardiff are
Yeah,
in
I
8th
think
place now on 58, so there's 11 points there. I think that's a safe gap.
that's the gap. It's going to be Bournemouth, Barnsley, Reading, and that's 3 out of the 4.
Yeah. So our table's gone out the window because I said Cardiff was coming in. Oh, you could still get it right. Who did you say dropped out? Barnsley, was it, or Reading?
Swansea, I think.
And you said we'd finish 4th, so you're looking strong at the moment.
I hope we finish 4th.
Well, we'll have to see what happens. We'll do a pre-match for Millwall, and we'll try and get the mood a little bit more upbeat. Maybe this probably seems like quite a negative video. We're not here to try and make everyone feel negative. We're just talking about what the situation is, isn't it? Like I said, I'd be happy at this point finishing in the playoffs. So we've got to try and build from there, and I'm sure everyone's got an opinion about how to do it. So
you know what it's like. You know what it's like. Anyway, we felt the same on Friday night, and then come sort of team selection announcement, we were ready to go again and optimistic, and I'm sure it'll be the same on Saturday. As soon as game time comes around, we'll be hoping for a win and change it around. But let's get in the playoffs, and then anything happens then.
Yeah, if you shit house a playoff promotion, the money that comes with it, I know everyone likes to talk about how his style of management's not going to work in the Premier League and whatever. The money that we'll get for going up, we will buy players, and then we'll see what he can do. If he can't do it, then he probably won't last a year, to be honest, in the Prem. And regardless, the money is worth it for our club. Even if we come straight back down, it will just stabilise us even more so than we have done with all the cost cutting. But we'll see if we get there first. Hopefully we will, and see what happens.
Remember when I said about the ship on the Pirates of the Caribbean thing? Has it sunk yet?
Well, the land is still achievable. We have to hopefully get there. I mean, it's not the end of the world, is it? Like, it's 4 games in a row that we've lost, and it's as much as people have been Cooper out at different times over his tenure. This is his first real challenge. He's a young manager. Let's see if he can sort it out. And I'm sure the players, they're not going to lose all the rest of the games. I just can't see it happening. I think they will turn it around at some point. And it might just be 1 goal that is all they need for the confidence to come back. Who knows? Anyway, I think this video has been quite long. So on that note, call it a day there. So cheers for coming along, Lee.
No worries.
And we'll sort out, I don't know what day it will be, but later in the week we'll get a pre-match for Millwall. Got a couple of guests to come on for some of the upcoming videos, so if you are watching, we haven't forgotten, we will sort it out. And we'll have to try and sort out when our next podcast is going to be as well. Maybe next week or something. But yeah. On that note, so see you later. So cheers for watching as always, and have a good one.
See you soon.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, to click the like button to help us grow. To keep up to date with all of our new uploads, hit the subscribe button and push the bell to ensure you are notified of all of our new videos. As always, engage in the comments and let us know your opinions on what we discussed today. And if you want to support us directly, check out our new merch where you can find some awesome Swansea related t-shirts.